So I'm very happy to have Alexey here today, Alexey Molchanov. We met last year in Greece. While he was part of the competition of the World Championship in Kalamata, and I was on the deep week. And finally, we made it now. He's in Moscow in the moment, and I'm in Germany. And yeah, Alexey, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm a freediver and I love freediving since I think I was 5 years old. It was my first trip when I was a kid to the sea, and since then I did a lot of training, and it was a lot of competitions, but also a lot of adventures in competitive area. I participated in World Championships for the last 20 years. Did some quite a bunch of world records in the previous, like, also I think starting in 2008 was my first world record in dynamic apnea, actually in the pool, and then from 2012 I was focusing on depth freediving, and since then I was doing mostly my dives and my records in the deep freediving. Is that like I it's a sports area, but I want to highlight that freediving is just so big. It's not only sports. Sports is a big part of what I do, which is visible, but I also like to travel for adventures, and I besides that I like focused a lot on growing the movement community around the world with the education company and with the training education in freediving space. So we have more professionals, more instructors around the world, and more freedivers as well.
What would you say? I mean, you're coming from a freediving family, obviously, like your mom and also your dad were freedivers already. But what would you say was your own reason why you're loving freediving? Because there was a point in your life where you decided to fully focus on freediving, right? Business ways as well.
Yes, it was initially it was adventures. When I was a kid, it was adventures. When I was 17 years old, it was both. I loved adventures and traveling and diving in the sea, but I was also a swimmer, and I liked competitive part of freediving and uh, competing. But I was in the university, and I was studying um, IT, and I didn't know yet that I will choose freediving as my main also business area. So I initially it was just an adventure, and then I was uh, doing more uh, study in the area of IT, and I was like, okay, I want to improve gear. I thought that like the gear is not really awesome. Like back in the day, 2005, there was no freediving gear. It was like spearfishing equipment. It was no good fins, no good monofin. And I was like, okay, I'll improve the gear, and that's how it started. I was like creating some new gear in freediving, and then I was focused on the more elements and was growing their uh, gear company. My mom was growing her education company, and then we combined it together into Molchanov's, like with both gear and education components, and that's how it like naturally started. Like it was coming out of necessity. I didn't see good gear on the market. My mom didn't see good training system on the market, and that's how we started.
Amazing. It's a lot of like factors, like you said, the nature, probably wildlife animals. Then also, before you mentioned, like before we were starting this recording, that you are also a lot into breath work and the psychology behind freediving. What makes it so fascinating for you? Like that the head just has to be totally clear and focused, or what is the drive for you?
I think the challenge it's a lot of elements combined. We when we especially in the depth part of freediving in the pool, it's very interesting. It's an important element of freediving because it allows you to improve efficiency, economy, technique, etc. So initially, pool is the natural like playground, but then with depth, it's just it's nature. So it's interaction with the ocean or the sea and adapting to the conditions. Sometimes it's like super easy conditions, no waves, no wind, no current. It's perfect. But sometimes it's wavy and it's like colder or it's not ideal. So being able to adapt to a lot of different combinations of conditions all the way to freediving under the ice. This is something I love to do lately. Like at least once a year, we would go and freedive under the ice and do some deep dives again. Like the deepest was 90 meters so far. Um, so it's adaptability, and yeah, I think it's a combination of this challenge, constant challenge, being in open water. It's definitely more risky if you compare it to the pool freediving. In a pool is like very well controlled environment, confined environment. In the ocean, it's harder to provide safety diving deep. And but nowadays in competition and training, we have a lot more tools to ensure safety for freedivers with sonar, with the dive eye, with video like, and then a team of safety divers are much more experienced, and medics as well. So yeah, I think it's just challenging. But besides that, besides like overall challenge, it's the way how it makes me feel when you're deep underwater, this pressure, compression of your body, of your lungs, pushes you to like to understand how to give up to the pressure, how to let go of any resistance. And this is beautiful feeling because if we resist to the pressure, it just makes everything the is much harder, and there's constant tension in the body. And the key to dive really deep is to give up and to let go of any resistance and tension.
How would you say, when you're explaining that, it sounds so easy. Like, yeah, you give up on the pressure, you let go of, but how do you personally do that? Like mentally, like totally letting go with, like some people do like storytellings in their head, they visualize things from their previous travels or stuff. Then also it's technique, obviously, but how do you personally let go of the pressure then to be able to relax again and go deeper, even though it's already pressuring the body?
Mm, well, it's hard to do this right away if it's very intense and new sensation. It's adapting to the sensation, just understanding how we should react to it initially at shallow depth, even if it's a dive to 10 meters, 5 meters, 10 meters, 15, 20, and then uh, building on top of this uh, foundation, like creating this strong foundation of being able to really deeply relax at shallow depth. And then in deep free diving, it's progressing only like a few meters at a time, 2 meters, 3 meters, and being able to keep it. Then after hundreds of dives or thousands of dives, it becomes a skill. It becomes like I understand really well where exactly my attention goes, how exactly my rib cage should uh, be positioned, how do I relax my breathing muscles. So breathing muscle development will be like one of their key element to prepare for this. Breath work, being more aware of tension in their our rib cage and breathing muscles. Like it requires a certain level of control and awareness. Like it's harder to feel the pressure, harder to deal with pressure if there is less awareness in our body, in our breathing muscles. So yeah, it's both. It's practice. It's a gradual progression, adapting to the depth, remembering these, thinking about this all the time, like doing the body scan all the time. But it's also preparation exercises which we can do on land. Like how can we prepare for depth the best possible way is doing breath work and developing breathing muscles, diaphragm, intercostal muscles, making sure we have good like shoulder mobility, shoulder blade mobility, so we can feel the pressure and like not react to the pressure.
And what is going on in your mind when you're going down there? Is it like, are you scanning your body, or where's your mind? Like, or are you drifting away with your mind, or focusing on the goal where you want to go, or where's your mind when you're going so deep?
If it's a competition dive, uh, my whole focus is on their efficiency, on the technique.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do everything I can to use less energy. So I can save oxygen, use less oxygen, produce less CO2, carbon dioxide. So this is the full focus is saving energy. How can I move less? How can I maintain my body position? How can I swim with less effort. And this focus and this attention like consumes my everything is in my body. All my attention is in my body, and I don't have any thoughts or ideas about something external.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there could be something like distracts me, and then the goal is to come back as quick as possible to back to the body, to technique, to equalization, to yeah, like rib cage, softness, uh, and that's for deep dives. If it's not super deep dive, if it's technical dive, if it's a fun dive, then of course you can do a lot. They can do like anything you want. You can
Mm-hmm.
look around, enjoy their scenery, and just yeah, there's less focus there. But on super deep dives, it's hyper focus.
What is your favorite? Like, what do you love most?
Monofin, I think it's my
Mm-hmm.
always been my favorite. I loved it the most. I love the movement. It makes you feel like you fly, like I fly in the water. It's very little movement and very efficient. Uses like very little oxygen. And yeah, I think monofin is number one. Bifins would be also I think number two after monofin. Then, well, I think free immersion is tricky because free immersion is obviously super enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It's really easy to pull on the rope. I don't think it's as athletic or as like requires as much technique as other disciplines. Like you just like train your arms, become stronger, and like pull on the rope. But at the same time, there is no much ropes in the ocean to pull when you're there. So
Yeah.
uh, so it's a good training discipline. There are some records in the discipline. I did some world records as well in the discipline too. It's fun, it's enjoyable, and it's essential to do the training
Yeah.
because for beginners, for athletes as well, you want to be very precise with your movements. Rope is important for this. Uh, so I enjoy it, but I would place it still in my priority list as a number four, like priority wise. So like no fins is something I enjoyed less in the past, but as soon as I started like digging deep into the technique and learning um, how to be more efficient with dolphins, I liked it. I like it more right now. I was never a good breaststroker. I was more so like dolphin kicker. That's why
Yeah.
I loved monofin. But when I was a kid, when I was a swimmer, my freestyle was my strong side, and fly was my strong style, and breaststroke was my least favorite style when I was a kid.
Yeah, I remember you actually gave me a recommendation, like an idea how to improve the monofin kick with like pointing the toes and putting the pressure in the very end of the toes. And I remember that now,
Hmm.
at least in my training, actually it helps a lot, like to start also with the tip of the
Good.
toe, to have the pressure, like more pressure in it.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah. It
What
makes you more balanced.
Yeah, for sure. And also like to be fully aligned, like to really like stretch and have the whole body in alignment. It helps also, I feel. What would you say are you most proud of, like in your entire lifetime until now?
I think it's continuing my mom work,
Mm-hmm.
continuing movement development, education development, training development for the community, and supporting this with different ways. Like I, so there's several key elements like where I focus key areas of my life. Right, it's sports and doing records, it's competitions. So I'm proud of like what I was able to achieve in this area as well. It's an important area, but comparing to supporting movement and growing the developing the company, growing like my ability to affect on the movement growth around the world for freedivers. This is a very meaningful direction. So
Mm-hmm.
also the gear development would be also compared to the movement secondary. It's my passion. I love this area, but it's supporting activity for the movement. So like it's the primary thing to do is to make sure like there is more freedivers, there's more professionals around the world, there are more schools, and then gear sort of follows. And records, uh, for me now, doing the record, I love this as a challenge myself. but I also see this as an important element to promote freediving and to show this more to the world. Like now, like records bring attention and inspire people
Of course, yeah.
to check it out and
Yeah.
like get excited about it and try it, right? So I think the movement, continuing my mom's work in the movement area, that's the most makes me most proud.
Yeah. And how would you say, I mean, you are training for yourself to compete and all this stuff, but also having the brand, like the company, the educational stuff, the gear. How do you find a balance in that? Would you say like that the training is also part of your like private life? Or how do you find a good balance in both of this?
Mm, yeah, training is most of the time it's my private life. I train and yeah, you don't usually even film it a lot. It's just my personal training. I'm getting ready for competitions, and it makes me feel good as well. I love to train. I think I use my like lifelong skill to train since I was a kid to be able to feel good in everyday life and to be able to like get energy and feel energetic and ready for the day. And I realize like if I don't train, if I just do nothing for a few days, I feel less energetic. And like training is an important part of my just yeah. It's first of all it's my routine, something I love to do. It allows me to like I use it as a way to structure my year. If I have a goal, I have like some important competitions in the calendar and certain discipline like dolphins as an example, that then I align my whole year, my months and monthly cycle, weekly cycle around this goal. And it just makes me organized in a way that I like, okay, I have to train this number of times per week. And it gives me energy, it makes me feel good, but it also helps me to structure my year around this training and competition activity. Some of the training I would still film to show people what it like how the training can look like, how some dives can look like, but I don't think I'm leaning heavily into this. It's just I want to share and inspire some people again, not only with records but with some training drills. But I don't do this every week even. It's something I would do maybe like a few times a month. Most of my trainings will be my yeah, private thing.
So you have your team that works around Molchanov, the brand itself as well, right? You have meetings, like how do you guys do the company work?
It's a few different departments, and I have uh, a lead person in each department. So there's a gear um, and movement, and those are two big directions. And then there is a general manager for gear, general manager for movement, and there is marketing. There is like all their other departments, finances, and IT, development of the software and application and they're like development of the team. That's something that allows me to do the work, like to have people who will be responsible for big parts of the company, to be providing leadership to them and to guide them, be available for uh, daily for questions. So I'm always online to solve for some problems or to answer some questions. And then for thinking, for me, it's more thinking about the strategy, about the priorities, and about like what is the next, like what is the product that we want to develop, what is the most important product for gear, for the movement, and then like there's a whole team to do operational work, like day-to-day work, but I'm still there all the
Mhm.
time to be available. And even though like if I'm training a lot, like let's say if I'm competing and I'm training for 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day, right? Still, besides those hours, I still would every day I would probably have another 8 hours. Sometimes, okay, it could be six, a bit less than eight, but sometimes it's more like 10 hours plus of calls or just being like going through questions and answering questions. It can take several hours, all the emails, all the messages. And that's how it is. It's like, it's still daily. It's still daily and I love it. It's just not always like heavy operations for me. Sometimes it is like if it's testing, if it's making sure that yeah, some of the things need to be solved, like more calls, more Zooms. But yeah, it's more the vision of the product and the vision of the strategy on my side.
So
And
pretty,
communication as well. It's
yeah.
it's being around actually meetings and being like outwards facing. Like I do the meetings, I do the events, and I interact with the community, and I understand better what we want to do more as a company to serve the community better.
So I would say you are fully living your passion in actually each kind of field, right? I mean, like your personal life with the training, the brand, and what would you say is do you have a vision for your life and also for the brand? What is your biggest dream that you want to head to?
Mm, I dream about the getting freediving to be closer. I don't know if we really want freediving to be a mainstream sport like a football or
Yeah.
something, but just to be more known, more well known, and at the same time balance it out with better tools and better materials available to still keep it safe, because that's one of the dangers. It's like when like we work all together to make it more well known, it is something that can increase risk with like quality of education, quality of training becoming less strict or less available, even like if like there's not enough schools, not enough instructors around the world, and people see a lot of content online, they can try it themselves because there's no coaches around and there's no one teaching freediving around them, or they don't have money to go and take a course as well. So this can all create a lot of extra dangerous situations in freediving space, and balancing this. So it's promoting freediving, getting it like closer to become well-known sport, maybe not necessarily mainstream sport, but more well-known sport, and keeping it safe, having more events, more high-level events like Grand Prix, and just like events where we have amazing um, show as well, commentating, and just having representing the sport in a modern way, in the best possible way.
One thing that I find very amazing in freediving is also the connection with the nature, because it's basically one of the sports where you don't need, I mean, you have the gear, but it's pretty like, if you compare it to scuba, you don't need like the tank and all this stuff. You have the fins, your suit, the weight belt, a mask or a nose clip. And this connection to the nature is also something very special, I guess, for a lot of people, maybe also the reason why they started. And what I found amazing is that the community of freedivers are pretty much aware people about not just sports, but also about the nature itself. Like, that's something I really appreciate. And also being supportive, like people help each other, even though it's competing on certain levels, but still you need others in order to freedive. Um, so do you guys create a special community about that as well with Molchanovs, or is there like a movement that you want to achieve as well to get more people involved into freediving, or how is your idea about that?
This area is really important. It's one of the next steps where more knowledge about ecology is introduced into the movement. Now, there are some elements of it already in the manuals, in their courses. When instructors teach freedivers, they would share like some of the basic elements of it, like being respectful to the ocean, not touching animals, not touching corals, just making sure it's safe, like not using um, uh, sunscreen and other like or soap, etc., close to the corals in general. They're just using reef friendly, ocean friendly like substances to go in the water. So just basics are there already in our education materials. Uh, then when the community becomes bigger, we can do more. And one of the next step is introducing more programs into the movement where scientists and ecologists could go and use this platform as a as a platform to speak about something they know the best, right? So we wouldn't we can provide the platform, we can provide a channel and publish the program and share it with instructors, like so like their communication with our community goes through the instructors, and they are the guys who are on site all around the world, so they'll be the ones to learn about this like ecology programs and to organize and some already do that, organizing
Yeah.
beach cleanups, like in Bali, in Thailand, in other places where it's a big problem. In Egypt as well, sometimes a lot of trash is there in the water. So everybody stops their training and collects trash and cleans the place they're training at. So I think freedivers are very aware of these problems because they're right, they dive in it, and then sometimes they just find themselves diving in the middle of trash, and that makes it very personal for them. And like I think if we continue doing this, continue publish materials and share like programs, that's going to be very beneficial. So getting the movement broader and then letting people use their skills to do something they can do for the ocean. And I think it'll be very natural, like next step and something we already approach.
Yeah, I feel like it's an entire lifestyle somehow, like appreciating the ocean, the nature, the spirit about it, the technique behind it, and also what you mentioned about safety. I think it's a very important thing because as soon as you mention freediving to someone that has never practiced it, it's like, wow, oh yeah, I saw these certain movies about it. It's so dangerous. So that's a thing that comes up in a lot of minds still. And I think that's also important to show people that the technique behind it has to be well known, obviously, to do it and to have a safety next to you, to always go with a buddy, to do courses before you're trying it out. But so I think it has a very big, it's a very important thing, the safety, because it's same with sharks. People see this in the movies and they believe all sharks are very dangerous. But when you're really getting into their topics and you're understanding how the things work, then it's a totally different world that is opening. And I think it would be amazing if more people are getting more aware about that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's uh it's a balance. Like, how do we get more people to know about it, but at the same time maintain safety? Like, this is there, I think, an important balance to maintain.
for sure. Yeah. Um, what is, I mean, you already mentioned about the mission of Molchanov Freediving Academy and all this stuff. What would you say was your biggest inspirational person throughout the way? Like, was it your mom, or which kind of people were the most heroic, let's say, that you were looking up to, that you learned most about it, like mentors?
The like my main teacher was my mom, and my mom was my coach and teacher since I was super like young, a kid. And she was teaching me how to swim when I was 3.5, 4 years old. And she was my like primary coach all the way until I think around 10 years old or 11 years old. Then I was swimming with the swimming team. But she was always around anyway to support my training. And then from 14 to 16 years old, I was sent to boarding school. So I lived alone, like, and I love this period of my life. I was like finishing the school in St. Petersburg, and yeah, it was again with different other coaches. But then when my mom started freediving, and I was starting freediving a year after that, she became my coach again in freediving space, and she taught me freediving. We traveled together. I was a bit of I already sort of like wanted to do it my way, so I would do some elements of it my way, like strength training, and I would do a lot of yoga. Like, and my mom would focused a lot on their specialized training in the water, actual like swimming, actual freediving, and I would be like not listening to her 100% of the time. I would do everything in the water, freediving related, but I would introduce all the elements and do this my own way. So there was a bit of rebelling like going on when I was a teenager, like 17 years old or older. But still, like then we traveled together and trained together for the next 10 years, 2004, 2005. 2004 even until 2015. And yeah, she would be my main inspiration coach, the way how she was able to compete to the highest level, train at the highest level, but also teach, like constantly work as well in their like work on the PhD, teach students in university and work on their education materials, training materials, develop this all the time. Like that was, I think, like her work um, ethics, how she worked, how she combined it with her lifestyle was inspiring, and it's still something I remember till now. Um, so that's for sure. In the beginning of my like freediving career, someone else like who I would be looking up to when I was a baby freediver, I had a chance to spend more time with Herbert Nietzsche,
Mhm.
and we would like bump into each other in some competitions, but also we lived together in the same room in World Championships 2005 in Nice, and then we also lived together in the house in Croatia in Gire Island when he was attempting a world record with no limits, 180 plus meters with no limits. And I was there. My mom was training variable weight as well, and I played a little bit with sled. And it was like chance to see how he trains and spend a bit more time. And then we also saw each other in Egypt and other places. And like I think his approach to like just like really intense approach to freediving was very inspirational, very interesting to observe. And I think I'm surely implemented some of these like elements of this approach in my practice as well.
Nice. I think it's very important in life to have this, to have mentors, people you're looking up to. And I think you are now like a person that a lot of freedivers are looking up to, not just because of the, I mean, of course, because you have been several times beating world records, but also as from the community, what I can say is that people that know you say that you're a very humble person as well, and that's something I could also agree to when we were in Greece, because it's not that every athlete is so open also to really talk with freedivers who didn't won anything special yet, because it's I think it's we are all loving the same sports and we're all human beings. And I feel that this is very amazing in this sport still, that athletes that are very famous already or very successful are still grounded. Like I felt that I was at the opening ceremony in Kalamata in the World Championship, and I felt that everyone was very welcoming. Like we went on a dinner together, and everyone was open to answer questions and talking about, as you told about your stories now. And I think that's something very unique because you don't have that much in other sports, I guess. Because somehow it's an individual sports, but still you are having your buddy next to you. You always need safety divers around you. So obviously it has somehow this community spirit, but still I feel that yeah, it's a very humble and kind community from what I learned. So that's something I really appreciate as well. And I thought I wanted to tell you this as well because it's something that a lot of people taught me as well. They were like, "Oh yeah, Alexei, I met him. Oh, he's a very nice guy." So I think it's important
Mhm.
also to have this. Yeah, it's like you're not so far away for people. Like it's easier to really grasp what it is about, you know? Um, cool.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's an important part. I think their nature of freediving makes us like be more open to our friends, and we all. It's all about like awareness and dealing with pressure, dealing with fears underwater, and uh, it's an individual sport. We we need bodies to provide safety, but being underwater alone and dealing with these elements and understanding how other people deal with this, and like it's also respect to other people when they deal with this like challenge of freediving and dealing with tensions and fear and anxiety or like all of these elements. I think it's so like in freediving, it's a bit it's less physical. It's not as much like athletic and physical, even though in high level of competition we we need good physique and good technique. But first of all, freediving is a mental sport. It's about being calm, learning how to relax, learn how to stay calm under pressure, and then that I think this is a unique element which connects us to other people.
100%, yeah. And it's very special because I think it's a very big personal transformation, like development thing as well. Like I'm a business coach, and for me, freediving was a transformative thing also within me to be able to calm the mind, to be able to see how much more you're capable of because our mind is limited. And when you achieve a new personal best or something, or in your case, maybe a new world record, where I'm far away
Hmm.
from, but but still, it gives more self-confidence for daily life as well. For to be aware that oh, there's a struggle, but I'm able to achieve it because in this dive, the mentality was very clear. So what would you say? You said in the beginning that breath work is a specific topic that you really want to talk about. So I want to also lead to this topic. Um,
Yeah.
why is it so? What makes it so special for you, the breath work itself?
Um, well, I think it's a foundational skill for freediving and something that was foundational for me when I was starting freediving myself back in the days, 2004, 2005. And one of the reason why it was more emphasized back in the days is because uh, it was it was no mouthfeel yet. So to dive deep, there was no advanced technique to equalize really deep. It was hard, and if we had no chance to equalize deep just with the skill of equalization, like one of the way to get deeper was with the flexibility of the our muscles, breathing muscles, and general like ribcage mobility. And that was the reason to really focus a lot on that. And I think it gave me a very strong foundation to continue progression and get where I am today. And nowadays, sometimes freedivers like learn advanced equalization techniques and get deeper faster without all there's like a bulk of exercises that they need to do to do safely and like to get good awareness of breathing muscles. So I think it's just something I will always highlight with freedivers as an important element of regular training. And mechanical improvements with breathing muscle, making them more elastic, making them range of motion better, and inhaling deeper, exhaling deeper, stretching diaphragm. When we do dry breath work and breath hold as well, then we can create a strong foundation for relaxation. It's harder to introduce relaxation when you already swim,
Mhm.
and it's much easier to find tensions in your body and learn how to be relaxed when you do breath holds. And it can be dry breath holds, it can be in water breath holds, static breath hold as well. So static will be like awesome way to prepare for the dives and train. I did a lot of static in the beginning, now less so. Like I would do breath holds dry, but I did a lot of static in the water, static breath holds in the water when I was like in the first 7, 8 years of my freediving career. Um, so yeah, it's an important tool to understand your body and without any movements, without much of CO2 produced, have enough time to do the body scan, have enough time to really relax deeply, a very important element. And sometimes people who love don't really want to do static breath holds, or like they're passionate about just being out in the water, doing like deep dives or having adventures in the water. They would overlook this area and like, okay, I just don't really need it. I don't want to do a longest breath hold or something. But it is essential to get to obtain better skill, to get more aware of tensions, be able to relax better and faster, and just there all the other areas of freediving based with this foundational skill, and then make all the other dives more enjoyable and safe. Yeah, so highlighting, I will always love to highlight this importance of breath work, breath holds, and doing that, investing some time into that.
Is there a specific example, like exercise of breath work that you want to share? that is maybe easy to implement in everybody's training plan?
Um, one which is super easy is the box breathing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great CO2 table, great to improve tolerance to carbon dioxide. And at the same time, if it's done with a full inhale, full exhale as well, it's the one which trains and make breathing muscles more elastic because you spend enough time. It's like a long series, 10 minutes plus, 15 minutes plus, could be like even 20 minutes, where you spend a lot of time with a full inhale. So you have time to stretch a little bit, like side stretches, front part stretch, back stretch. And uh, it gives enough time to focus on relaxation because with a bit of extra CO2 and urge to breathe, the primary focus of this workout is how can we relax more so we don't feel CO2 as much and we don't get tense because of CO2. Yeah, but it has a great side effect of training breathing muscles as well, making them more elastic. And then it's very easy to have very gradual progression with just a few seconds, 5 seconds longer cycle. So box breathing would be like for freedivers, I think anyone can start from 40-second cycle and very fast get to 50-second cycle. 1 minute cycle is already a good intensity cycle. And 1 minute plus, when we get to 1 minute and progress further, 105, 110, 115, there we really get a lot of benefits when we get to 1 minute and progress onward. And I would recommend to think divide this cycle time into two parts. Inhale plus breath hold with inhale, and the second part is exhale plus breath hold with exhale. So dividing this into two parts is enough. There is no need to control the duration of inhale. Like, is it exactly 10 seconds? Is it 5 seconds? Is it 15 seconds? And it's even hard to do 15 seconds inhale when it's a long cycle anyway. So it's not that critical. It's just like the whole inhale plus breath hold. That's this duration is important. And there is no rest between the cycles. That's the key element of box breathing. So you do just, let's say, 10 minutes workout, 10 repetitions of 1 minute cycle. And it could be, an example could be 40 seconds for their inhale plus breath hold, 20 seconds for the exhale plus breath hold, and then immediately you start the next cycle, right? And then you go cycle after cycle, 10 repetitions, 10 minutes of 1 minute cycle. And when you feel it, like maybe in a week, you feel like you feel confident with the cycle, you prolong it to make it 1 minute five and practice another week with this cycle. Sometimes we want to reduce the intensity and rest a little bit if you feel like it's too much. We're a bit tired from breath work. So it's just like slowly like progressing with wave-like structure, like a little bit higher intensity for a week or 2 weeks, then lower intensity, higher intensity, lower intensity. And this is very simple exercise, very easy to see progression, and very strong effect on freediving.
For sure, yeah. I like a lot the tables and also waiting for the contraction and then seeing how to improve, like how to develop and build on these also about the personal contractions. Um, I was last weekend in Leipzig for the German national indoor apnea, and was my first time participating there as well for AIDA. And I was recognizing that everyone had a very different last breath before the dive. Everyone had a very different way of doing it. What is your personal way of doing the last breath before you're going for your dive?
Mm, my uh, last breath is, well, the last breath where I pack already, right? It's the breath where I actually pack is quite slow. I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, the most important part is this preparation phase, the last 5 minutes before the dive. The last breath is sort of like less critical.
Mm-hmm.
But if we talk about the last breath, it could be um, before the last breath, it could be a few medium-sized breaths. So it
Mm-hmm.
can be like a few deeper ones, but not 100%,
Mm-hmm.
with the least possible tension in the breathing muscles. So two, maybe maximum three, two, let's say two inhales, and the third one will be the deep one. And then roughly 5 seconds inhale, not fast, not to like try too hard to inhale with a lot of muscle tension. So quite slow, not
Mhm.
too slow from the abdominal area, chest. Not really trying hard to inhale 100%, not to create extra tension again. And I would, instead of that, I would just stop inhaling using my breathing muscles, and then I would pack instead of trying to harden inhaling in the upper part of the chest. And like let's say stop at 90%, relax. Make sure I do the quick body scan, relax the shoulders, relax the neck, relax my abdominal area, and then pack.
Mhm.
And if there is, for some reason, maybe dizziness, sometimes we start packing and there's increased intercostal pressure. It's too much pressure, and then we might get a bit dizzy with that. Uh, I would do a short stop. I
Okay.
would pack for like let's say 6 times or 8 times, pause, and then top up afterwards.
And you just mentioned that the 5 minutes before are even more important in your eyes. So, what is the 5 minutes preparation for yourself?
And that'll be tidal breathing, very shallow breathing, and the goal of this phase is to really calm down as much as possible, relax breathing muscles as much as possible, and this phase is where I make sure I'm ready for the dive. So last breath is sort of like just mechanical. They are there to give me this volume of air, but the change of mental state comes from this like 5 minutes before the dive.
And it's a topic that I talk with a lot of freediving colleagues about because our training times are mostly very late in the evening. And we always wonder about what to eat before. And so, how is your idea about, like, let's say you have like an ocean competition about deaths and it's at lunchtime. How do you eat? Like, do you eat just a banana before and then have a proper lunch after? Or what is your ideal way to do that?
Mm. I would eat, it depends on the time of the dive. If it's too early, it could be just banana and
Mhm.
tea and honey, just like a little bit of carbs, not too much, not to make me feel heavy or not be able to inhale fully. If let's say I need to be in the water 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., it's probably too early. I would need to wake up too early to properly eat. So that'll be very little. If it's I have just 1 hour or less, just that. If I have 2 hours or more, or like 2.5 hours or more, and my dive is like let's say 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. and I wake up like 7:30, 7 o'clock or 7:30, I have 2 hours, 2.5 hours or more, then I can eat uh, oats. I can have, I will still have, let's say, a fruit, a banana or something. Banana would be probably a good example, but I could have oatmeal or buckwheat, like a porridge. Like porridge would be ideal.
Okay. It's just something that I think it's important to know because one thing is the training and all of this, but the nutrition is also very beneficial about it. Because in freediving, you don't want to
Mhm.
have a full stomach, but at the same time, you need energy to be able to do the dive. So it's the balance of both of it. Okay, amazing.
Agree. I agree.
There's a lot of listeners who maybe already found their passion or also they maybe before it because you are living fully your passion. And what kind of advice would you give to someone that is still looking for a passion?
Mm, I think it's looking for something that gives you energy and makes you excited, and uh, something you want to spend time on. So whatever it is, it can be like in my case, I was always like I think like I was helped a lot by my mom and my parents to do a lot of things when I was a kid. Besides swimming, it was a lot of other types of activities. And they always gave me choice and asked me what do I think about it, how do I feel about it, if I want to continue or not. So giving this choice like made me think about it when I was a kid and like, okay, do I want to do this? And if you want to do this, you're excited and you have energy, that's where you'll be able to spend the most time and not being without being distracted, tired from obstacles, etc. Right? So like there's always gonna be some obstacles. It's gonna be hard. It's hard to do things like in general when you do them properly, when you do it to like some you do some complicated projects. And if you like this area, if you feel passionate and energetic, then you'll be able to continue doing this. And that's, I think, important. Like, where do you feel this excitement and energy and being like very much aware of yourself? And I think that's what freediving and breath hold and breath work teaches us, being more aware. How do we feel? Because if there's something we don't like and we sort of like ignore it and suppress it, then it's going to be like increasing this conflict inside of us. Like we don't like something, we'll continue doing this, and then we don't want to do this. There is no energy. Like we just feel tired all the time. So I think that's the foundational element. Is like, do we feel it, like excited, energized, and even though sometimes we are tired, always, of course, can we come back and start doing this again with new, like with more effort and or like rest a little bit and like a day and still continue to do this, not needing to take like a month rest or a week rest to get back to work, right? And like if you feel excited about something, you don't need that. You can just work every day and be happy about it.
That's true. That's very true. Like, and also it's becoming an internal drive, which is totally different than an external one because you're not depending on any attention or anything in the outside. It comes with it naturally because you're doing a great job in what you're doing, and then obviously it inspires others. But that's not the goal. Like the goal is coming from the inside, and I think that makes a very big difference then when you have a real passion. Amazing.
Right, right. I agree.
Thank you so much. Do you have anything that you want to add on or something that you still want to share?
I think to summarize, it's important to remind people about safety. Everybody who listens to us and excited about freediving, um, it- always work on your basic skills, on starting from technique, starting from efficiency. Like this makes you safer freediver. Something if you can be better with the efficiency and save energy, save oxygen, it makes you safer. You can be safer freediver yourself, being more precise with your resources, with your energy and oxygen. You can provide help better as a good partner. So you can be like being a stronger freediver with a better technique, with more efficiency. You help yourself, you help others best. You want to do drills, to do rescue and safety drills, of course, from time to time to refresh your knowledge about safety. But yeah, always keep training, and think about like how to be better, stronger freediver. Even though like maybe competition is not everybody's goal, it's maybe like a few percent of freedivers actually want to do competition.
Mhm.
But anyway, even like adventure freedivers like need that to swim with cameras, to swim with marine mammals and like all the animals underwater. We need good skills to keep up with them and not be super tired. Like it's hard to swim next to like a dolphin or sea lion or whatever. It requires skill, right? So we want to be efficient, not be tired. And so the foundation of freediving is that, and it increased the safety, but it also increased the joy from freediving. If you're a better freediver, you can enjoy adventures more and just feel like it's like easier and you know not as tired. So that's I think advice like keep training, pay attention to the basics.
That's very, very important. I can highly agree because my intention to start with freediving was basically being underwater, able to be with wildlife animals for a longer time.
Hmm.
And I went last year with humpback whales in Tonga, Tahiti, Moorea. And I'm a swimmer since I'm 5 also, so it was very joyful for me. But at the same time, now I was in Galapagos and we were able to see hammerhead sharks, but they were in 20-meter depths or something. And to just stay down and be able to be calm and watch them, I was not able to. Because there was current, I was excited. and I think 10 meters was fine, but then I was like, okay, I want to go up again. So there I realized, okay, I want to be able to reach more depths and to stay calm underwater. Because in the ocean is a totally different thing. Like training in the pool is one thing, and then in the ocean is totally another thing. And competition also helped me to like I just went to three competitions now, two in Portugal and one in Germany. But every time I reached my personal best because there's so many safeties. There's the adrenaline from competing itself and to be able to beat your own personal best. And the people are amazing. So it's I think just the atmosphere is amazing to me personally. So I think the mix is amazing of all.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much, Alexey.
Cool.
So for everyone that is keen to have a look at the Molchanov Academy and stuff, I can link it in the notes. It's gonna be yeah, published on Spotify mostly. And
Mhm.
yeah, we are happy to have a 5 stars for the like ranking for the show. And yeah, thank you so much for your time, Alexei. Finally, we made it. Thank you for your
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
say thank you for your assistance
Happy.
as
Yeah.
well. Like she did a great job that we finally made it now. And,
Yes, yes.
and I should send you greetings from Ute, the judge, because she was the
I
judge for
remember
the
Uta.
weekend. Yeah, and
Yeah.
she was a very, very kind person. She gave me recommendations how to improve for the next time and stuff. And she taught me also to send you greetings. So
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.